Now like to invite Shreerang here and from Talekar, Nordic CEO of TCS. Shreerang, it's such a great pleasure to have TCS as a partner and to have you here today moderate this really important and I would say timely and great session, AI-enabled businesses of the future. Over to you, Shreerang. Please join us here on the stage.
Thank you.
I'll let you introduce your
panel.
Thank you very much.
Am I audible? I guess I am. Thank you, Sanju. It's a pleasure to be with all of you. And while I see Bjorn and Cecilia and Sami walking, I think the future of travel cannot be complete without talking AI. So that's some parts which we will talk. And if I look around, there'll be a lot of interest also to make the travel to India very, very convenient. Maybe a direct flight. I'm not sure if Bjorn can solve that for us. All right, we are talking about AI enabling businesses of the future. That means businesses that scale and businesses that can be driven with trust, because scaling will require trust, scaling will require partnerships. This is my AI assistant for the day, and I've been capturing some notes from the morning sessions. So just to catch all of us up and also set the context, very strong commitment from the industry, from the governments to begin with, first of all, on how we can continue our development with Sweden and India partnering even more stronger than what we have been witnessing for the past 2-3 decades. We have had strong sponsorship from private sector, and we saw Volvo Group talking effusively on what can we do more with the trusted relationships that we have, the love affair which was talked about earlier in the day. And what we are going to do now is going to reflect a little bit on the times that we are living in. These are really unprecedented times. We talked about the geopolitical situation, the economic and trade regulations. We also have a lot about disruptive technologies. So how do we deal with all of this? And how do we coexist? How do we live in a world that has now humans and machines coexisting? It's not scary. It needs to be embraced. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And more importantly, we are going to look at how that can be turned into a competitive advantage, which means while we work on all of these topics and deal with the uncertainty, how do we change that uncertainty and complexity into a competitive advantage? So that's the focus of our discussion. Just to again continue on the context, we at TCS have been embracing this complexity and change with open arms. We are driving AI at scale. Arguably, we have the largest AI hackathon going as we speak right now, where tens of thousands of employees are working on a daily basis to see what does AI mean for them on a daily basis in processes, in their work with customers, and also in their day-to-day life. So there are things which are happening, and we feel that because of these initiatives, by creating an AI playground, we have been able to motivate people to understand where it can make an impact. So the conversation for today is not to look at AI as an exotic topic, but how do we make it real? And the biggest question to answer is, will AI deliver the business value it promises? To be able to reflect on this a little bit more, I'm joined by leaders who are making this happen really on a daily basis in different industries. So it's my pleasure to invite, in the order of the panel that's sitting around here, Sandin, Managing Director, Tetra Pak Sweden, and also Global Head for Strategic Programs and Sustainability. Welcome, Marie.
Where do you want me?
Better at the far end. Jonas Florvik, Vice President, Intelligence Services at Securitas, leading the AI Center of Excellence for Products and Transformation and managing the Risk Intelligence Center. Welcome, Jonas. Govindarajan, President of Epiroc India. And in an industry which is, welcome, and an industry which is at the heart of transformation, working with Epiroc and Atlas Copco, we would like to hear some examples of how you are driving change and scaling businesses. And last but not the least, Per Jonsson, CDO and CSO at Autoliv, a technologist at heart, and we can learn a lot about how do we scale businesses. Thank you, Per, for joining.
Hi.
There are two topics of the panel today. One was scaling of AI, and then second one was how do you build trust and trusted relationships. But before that, maybe I take a step back and ask you more of a personal question. So what does AI mean for you? How do you motivate yourself? And when we say leadership actually drives change, then how are you embracing AI in your personal life? And let's not talk business, in your personal life. So we didn't prepare for this, but let me hear your answers. Maybe, Marie, if you can start.
Yeah, AI means for me new ways of learning. As a person, I'm very much driven by learning new things, driving innovations, and by AI, I feel that I can get access to so much more information through different channels and really personalize it based on my needs in a way. And for me, that is exactly what AI means. It means that each of us, we are different as persons, and we can get access and we can learn in the ways that really fits our needs. And that's key for me.
Thank you. Per, how much time do you spend on learning what's new in AI yourself?
I mean, it's there. It's part of my daily work, so I don't really count how much I'm working with AI. So I mean, I guess it's hours every day. But you learn by doing. I mean, it's not about reading; it's learn by doing, testing the tools, talking with the projects that we're doing, and so forth. So it's all the time, I would say.
All the time. Arun, how do you keep up with everything that's going around you? How do you keep up with the AI lingo?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with seeing what AI is all about. The saying is that AI is not the threat in itself, but not knowing AI or not using AI in your daily job could become a threat in future for yourself. So that is where I started, curiously understanding it, but then soon realized that my kids at home, they are using it almost on a daily basis, very seamlessly. They have transitioned, or they have probably skipped the Google part. Like we all are transitioning from Googling to AI in a way, but they have skipped it. When I saw that, I said, okay, if we have to keep up with this generation, which we are recruiting more and more in our organization, it's important to be speaking their language. That's how I started learning. And today I can only tell you that it's almost like a personal assistant with you 24/7. So you tend to use it in so many ways that you really did not plan for. You don't plan for it anymore. It's seamless. That's how I got into it. And I can tell you the experience so far is really great.
Wonderful. And to you, Jonas, I don't need to ask this question how you keep up because you lead the Center of Excellence, so that's a very obvious question. But let me ask you, how do you get funding for your projects? How do you convince your CFO to say, here is some pot of money and you can go do your experiments?
I think it started like a journey from the beginning. In the beginning, when I started at Securitas, there was a questioning about the AI department. They told me, what is the AI Center of Excellence doing? We don't understand, and they are never coming up with something at all, because we only focus on product development to our end clients, and that takes time. So then I said, but tell me one of your problems you have in the business, and let's do something together. So we then started our first AI Council, where we run 5 weeks iteration together with the business, saying, this is your problem, this is how we can apply AI. And every 5 weeks we meet up. Do they get 5 more weeks to work on this topic, or do we cancel it? And that's how basically how it started. And since then, I would say, if I hunted for initiatives in the beginning, now I'm holding them off, so to speak, internally.
It's a good problem to have. Excellent. Back on the main panel discussion of scaling AI, and Marie, you are in an industry which has a lot of responsibilities to keep growing and reimagining your future, especially in food and packaging. Sustainability is a huge topic. So how do you work with topics such as digital twins and being able to use AI to reimagine what your customers want and therefore what you should really invest in?
Mm. So let me start off saying that Tetra Pak, we are providing food solutions to the world. That means food processing and food packaging solutions as well. In practice, we delivered or enabled 72 billion liters of food last year in 2024. It's close to 200 billion packages then, with food then as well, food and beverages. And of course, that's a big responsibility already from start. And what is happening in the world right now is that, we see that our customers, their supply chain is of course a challenge compared to how it was in the past. So our way of working is always starting off with our needs of our customers. What do they need? And that means, of course, that using now new ways of working to make sure that the supply chain works for us and for our customers to provide food is really key. And what we see in the middle of that one is, of course, the factories, our customers' factories, the plants, where they produce food. It could be lines of equipment, it could be automation solutions. It's basically having ingredients, raw material coming to the factories, and then, of course, getting packages with food out from the factories. And the best way to make sure that we drive food security, that we do that with speed, with quality, with a focus on food safety, is actually to fully go into the world of the virtual world. That means, just as you're referring to, being able to have digital twins in the future, digital twins of our customer plants, digital twins of their equipment lines. And by that means that we suddenly can be able to work with continuous monitoring. We can have performance live data. That means being control of all sustainability parameters. It could be water usage or the need of water, energy, how to drive, minimize waste and do that. And also, of course, being able to compare for a customer the performance from one factory to another one, and by that being able to learn in a good way. And you can imagine for the operators as well, that means that they are able to have access to data in a completely different way, live data, and by that optimizing all the process parameters for the food production in a good way as well. So we see the digital twin is really a key enabler to be able to drive performance, quality, food safety in a sustainable way for the future.
And I imagine these are KPIs that you're also now actively reporting, having big targets and not just looking at the global KPI sustainability, but essentially on every of these sub-KPIs, so to say.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, to be able to drive global change, global transformation change, because we're really talking about system changes that we all see in front of us. And to be able to do that, we need to work local, and we need to make sure that we optimize the way of working locally to be able to scale up, as you started off as well. We want to scale up, but to be able to scale up, we need to find good solutions that work local, like ecosystems, and then to drive scale up accordingly as well. But to do it in a world that we are enabled by the virtual capabilities nowadays.
And I'll come back to Tetra Pak and your India collaboration. How do you use India as a market, not just for growth, but also for bringing innovation back into Sweden? I'll come back to you in a minute.
Okay.
Arun, Per, and Jonas, safety and security is at the heart of everything that you do in many different ways, but that is probably a common underlying theme. And maybe I start off with you, Arun. In the industry where, avoiding collisions, ensuring safety of the worker on the ground, blue collar, white collars as well, how do you use AI to be able to drive very specific use cases to ensure safety, to improve productivity and efficiency, and actually to start mining the information that you collect in a more concerted way?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see that mining is a very traditional industry. We probably pick up technology much later in the value chain, but when we pick up, then it goes pretty fast in transition. So I would say until 2 years back, AI was still a buzzword in the company, right? Everybody talks about it, but nobody is clear about where exactly it is used, what exactly is the application. But since 1 year, it's not anymore a buzzword. It's really taking shape as a fact, as reality. It's used in business. Today, as you said, safety, sustainability is core for a company like us. We are working in mining environment. We created a digital vertical. We created a digital solutions division just 2 years back to focus on digital products, OEM agnostic. Doesn't matter which make of product it is. And we have products today, like you rightly said, collision avoidance systems. In a mine, you want to really make a human-free mine in the future. Next generation is not going to work in a dark, wet, humid condition underground and go and operate machines. So you need to create it easier for them. So our products like collision avoidance systems today apply AI. It can sense and differentiate humans to another machine. It can sense rock falls. It can sense a lot of safety things proactively and feed back to the operation center so that the traffic management can be done in a much more secure way. But it's not just there. I believe that AI is not limited to product innovation or R&D teams. Unless that becomes a common tool across the organization, it will remain a buzzword still. So we started focusing on the process improvement areas. You know, how the new generation employees use AI on a daily basis. So last 1 year, we are asking everyone, do you use a tool? Yes. Okay. What do you use it for in your day-to-day job? That kind of thing. And you will be surprised. We say AI is a threat for human employment in the future, but actually we turned the table and used AI to recruit more people in a much faster and efficient way. It was a very, very smart startup in Bangalore. We do a lot of tech recruitments. So roughly 200 tech recruitments we did in last, say, around 15 months. Each position in India attracts at least 100 applications, minimum. So you can imagine we are processing some 2,000 applications. It's impossible for an HR team to sit and read and do a decent job in shortlisting. This tool literally screens thousands of applications, shortlist the best ones, rank them, group them, run first technical interviews with them online. It was amazing to see the speed at which all these things are done. We're talking about 2x or 3x speeds, not percentages here, right? And finally, the top 10 still comes to the manager for recruitment. To me, that was a very, very practical, very value-adding use case, right? Which really made sense, and we are using it as a tool rather than a threat. That was a fantastic use case. The second thing I would like to share is about market intelligence. Earlier, we used to go to McKinsey's, and it's not a threat to McKinsey's. They use AI anyway. But earlier, to get a market intelligence data, it's a 1-month project. 3 or 4 experts are working on a market like India, for example, excavators and breakers or drills, and then create fancy report. Today, I would say with use of AI, almost 70 to 80% accurate information, a market intelligence report, could be generated in a matter of minutes. And we have verified it to, say, McKinsey generated or any other consultant generated reports. It's 70, 75% accurate. That's the speed we are talking about. You know, completely another level of speed and day-to-day used by employees more and more. The last one I would like to share here is that India is a world where a lot of government tenders work. If somebody has worked in India with the tendering sections, we are handling big tenders, like 300 pages, 250 pages. It's humanly impossible to handle those kind of tenders now. If you feed this information today to AI, it kind of neatly segregates and tells us that, hey, this is the things to do, these are the areas you need to act now, these are the documents which has to be required. Amazing. Earlier, we used to have a team of almost 10 people working on tenders, just reading, classifying, understanding things to do, and preparing. It's a 1-month job for 10 people to sit and do this. Today, it's done in a matter of minutes to document, and people can just have. So I'm really amazed how the young generation is today, you know, using technology, using this to their benefit, rather than seeing it as threat and keeping it away. So I would say if you bring this to common man, every employee using it, then it's not a buzzword anymore. You know, the adaptation is much faster.
No, beautifully put in all different parts of the organization, how this is being used. And on a lighter note, I think the consultants need to reimagine their value to somebody like you.
I'm sure they're using it themselves. So the question is who learns it first.
Not to take a month and millions of euros as a bill for doing a market report. But that apart, thanks, Arun. And I would like to continue with you, Per, in the industry where, you know, we are moving full throttle towards autonomous cars, on autonomous everything for that matter. Data plays a big role. How do you use that to be able to, you know, mine it while providing the customers what they want: experience, safety, security? So which use cases are you using in Autoliv that helps them, you know, get that experience?
Well, yeah, I don't think we're not using any of those, because that's not where we are. We're a manufacturing company, and I think when it comes to prioritizing and deciding what to use, it's really about kind of going behind the hype of AI. Understand your own company. I mean, there is no limitation of use cases that actually works. But there is a limitation of use cases that actually works on a scale. And I mean, that's where it comes. And then you need to understand your own company. I mean, fine, there are use cases of all of these nice tools we're using at home. And yes, they maybe save a couple of, you know, helping us doing a PowerPoint and so forth. But that's not where Autoliv, we are the biggest, you know, automotive safety manufacturer and engineering company in the world. So we are manufacturing and engineering. that's where we have the biggest impact. That's where we need to move and start focusing on scaling, while of course continue to explore and not kind of take away the benefit of these tools, because people love them, sure, but there we go much more careful, because we really can't see the business cases. So then going into manufacturing, again, it's a little bit going behind that hype. It's not generative AI that we are scaling. It's really in manufacturing now we're coming to a level where sensors, cameras, old traditional machine learning with some Raspberry Pi compute on the edge, they are down to much more to price levels where we really can scale them. For example, in quality vision inspection. That's nothing new. It's been there for a long time. You're buying a camera with AI built into it, $70,000, $80,000. Now we can do it with a small camera and a Raspberry Pi and an algorithm on them, so we can do it ourselves and we can scale it. So I think that's really understanding your company, looking into the business cases. Yeah.
And you're confident this has already scaled or will scale in the next 6 to 12 months?
It's already scaled. If we're looking at that particular example, is already ongoing. We're scaling it as we are speaking. With that said, I mean, the challenges is, again, still, scaling is not about doing a copy of 600 cases. It's really, suddenly when it comes to scaling, it's other challenges. That's when you need to start bring people, processes and technology together. It's not just that innovation and use cases, or that's very tech heavy. A lot of people like innovation, just testing the stuff. But when you start scaling, it is that other combination of competence that need to be in. And that's core into the scaling, I think. And then we'll see.
I'll come back to you on how you do it within your company and in the ecosystem. But just to round up on this question, Jonas, now this is a question of physical security and digital security. So you're in guarding business. That provides another level challenge. Can you imagine physical AI in your core business?
Yeah, of course. Like we are both like in the guarding business, but and of course AI makes sense for us fully because we are 380,000 security personnel out in the field as Securitas, but we also invested heavily in technology that you maybe saw last year with the Stanley into our organization. So we are building to legs to stand on as a company. So AI for us, it can start with small initiatives. One of the first we did was we thought that we are producing several thousand guard reports each day all over the world. How can we create more insight about the free text in a guard report? So we trained an AI to understand the text within a guard report. In the beginning, we saw it as more insight to our clients. In the end, we developed a product based on that we call risk prediction that uses all the knowledge we have with our guards out in the field to understand the threat situation. So 100 by 100 square meters, we can predict what could potentially happening in that area. So it started with an internal AI initiative that goes on to be a product that we sell to our clients. Then, of course, we all have more complex initiatives where we know that smart building is happening. So you don't need a guard to check if a window is closed. You can do that with sensor and so on. But that also means, coming back to what Per said, with a lot of sensors and so on, how do we make sense of all the data that comes in? So we are building something we call an intelligent hub in order to listen to the guard reporting, the sensors, to our security operations centers to make the right decisions for our clients. And then we have, lastly, one of the initiatives I would like to mention also, it can also be from a sustainability perspective. So we have, as I said, guards, and we have client sites all over the world. So then we have a hard time addressing, do we make sure that the person that works as an on-site guard or mobile guard had the shortest traveling distance to their site where they work. So we use AI to optimize. Do we have the right person at the right site with the right skill set? And we are testing that in Berlin and Paris at the moment. And we can see then we save one trip around the world a day just in Berlin to optimizing. And it's not hard, but AI can help it to do it faster.
Absolutely. And is it a big organizational adoption challenge when you want to look at AI being understood by 380,000 guards or people in your organization?
of course, I think Per was on it. In the end, it's not about the technology, it's about change management and its leadership. So it's driving out the effects of AI. So I spend more time with our country presidents, convincing them that this is important and how we drive the effect out in the business than I spend on learning about AI.
Absolutely, thank you very much. One important topic towards getting this done right and at scale is also to build partnerships in the ecosystem. And let me start with you, Marie. You're also the chair of LTH, Lunds Tekniska Högskola, and therefore you have access to a lot of things that are going out in the academic world and also an influence on what should be going out there. So how do you work with LTH, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ecosystem partners to advance what you think is right for Tetra Pak?
Yeah, we are doing a lot, and we are driving really changes in way of working. And I actually would like to build on first what was said here as well. And coming back to Tetra Pak also, because we are also, just as I said, we are digitalization, we are driving a digital offering for our future, as I mentioned before, but we're also driving a digitalization of our way of working as well. And the way that we do that is actually, we are going from our own platforms, digital platforms, to really make sure that we partnership, coming back to partnership, that we're driving now and working with the partners that are really specialized in the different areas when it comes to providing digital platforms. So for instance, on sales management and opportunity management, when it comes to how we drive product creation, how we drive manufacturing platforms, etc. as well. And that's a new way of working. So it's like an ecosystem of local IT platforms instead, not local, global, worldwide, but we are creating a local ecosystem of IT platforms. And that means a completely different way of working. We are changing our processes. It's completely new roles and responsibilities as well, and in terms of who is doing what. And for us, it's a key transformation change. And that is also linked to your question here. We believe that we need to work in a different way with our digital offering, but of course also that means that locally work very closely in the local ecosystems is very important. So as we're doing in Lund, we are driving collaboration on research, innovation, but also how we work with industrialization as well locally together with like Lund University, academia, with our customers, with our suppliers as well. Because if we are able to combine innovation and industrialization, we create a speed when it comes to commercializing the solutions and products as well. So for us, it's key to work with both. We need to drive a local ecosystem from a physical point of view, but we need to have an ecosystem of digital platforms to optimize our way of working. And we're doing this in parallel right now, which means, of course, a big change when it comes to our employees, but how we work in the full food value chain as well.
Brilliant. And not to mention everything that needs to be done with the regulators, with the agencies to be able to tell them what's next and how should we work together on a sustainable future.
Yeah, and that is a key enabler. And it's good that you mentioned that one, because in the past we had our own AI platform. I mean, the last 10 years, we have had AI platforms that we built within Tetra Pak. It's basically to generate codes in an efficient way, and there has been a lot of savings. All the savings we see, of course, now from an AI point of view as well when we use common platforms. But we and others are not able to use these digital platforms without having the same language. We need common standards. We need a common languages to be able to get really the full benefits of the new digital world and of AI as well. And that's why free trade agreements, mutual recognitions and all that is so important, because that's the only way to avoid that we have a lot of losses and being able to have, inspections and tests between the different, it could be in nationalities, but of course it could be different industries, etc. as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Well said in the right forum here about, getting everybody on board to make that change. We are running out of time, but just very quickly, Per and Arun and Jonas. Per, what are the ecosystem partners that come naturally to you now, and what would be the next set of partners for the future?
I mean, we have to realize that we are we're good at engineering and manufacturing. We are not a tech specialist. We're not AI specialists. So we always will have to be working with those kind of tech companies that has the specialists to kind of infuse our own company. We just have to realize that. But also one way that we are working quite a lot is venture clienting. So we are really working with startups in a structured way where we kind of have a case that we need to solve, and then we go out and scout the world for startups. And those are, I mean, there's also very interesting sharp tech ideas and people and so forth coming that way.
And then working in the India-Sweden corridor provides you the best opportunity, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Arun, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, coming from a traditional industry like mining, for 25 years, we have been doing our R&D in-house with, our own centers in Bangalore and things like that. But 1.5 years back, we decided to just get out and co-locate in the ecosystem ourselves. So we are into T-Hub in Hyderabad, for example. That's where we came across this Hire Plus company, which runs AI tools for recruitments. Jumped on it, if we would not have moved into those kind of ecosystems, we would never have learned it. Similarly, today we are also in Chennai and inside IIT Madras, where we co-locate our R&D teams. Suddenly you have an ecosystem. You spoke about scalability. Unless you have tools which can be used across multiple industries, the scalability is not going to happen. If you just keep thinking about your own industry and use cases within your own industry, you are going to be limited. But moment we opened our wings and moved from Bangalore to Chennai and Hyderabad and not just create our own office but co-locate inside, the eyes open completely. We're talking about solving one problem in a month maybe in our R&D teams. There they are solving it in 24 hours. Okay, suddenly the speed is completely different.
Yeah.
So I think co-locating in the ecosystem and learning across industries is very, very key for scalability.
Thank you very much. That's well said. Last word from you.
I can see the screen is on minus time now. It's very, very brief. So we as a company want to be the trusted advisor within security. So we're working on partnerships on all the levels that already mentioned. And that is the way forward for us, because we believe, for example, cybersecurity, that is not the core competence of us. So there we will partnership and so on.
Thank you. A big round of applause for our panelists.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shreerang.
We have focused, as you heard from it, on two